My husband is sitting right there. This is Joe. Can you raise your hand? Joe is a web designer. And about 2 years ago, he was working with a client, and he was telling me, he says, oh, she doesn't know what she wants. She's not really clear about her business. She has no idea who her ideal clients are. She's struggling to put together her service packages. She can't explain what it is that she does. And because of that, she can't put together the content for her website. And I'm like, dude, she is my ideal client. I help with that. Why don't you refer her to me? And he says, I did. I told her all about you, and she was really excited about working with you. And then she went to your website, and she didn't like what she saw. Today, I'm here to rescue you from that experience. So this is what our presentation is about today, is how to make a great first impression with your website, or like I like to call it, how not to suffer that fate. This is not a technical presentation. My purpose today is to help you solve these particular problems, and this is what I hear all the time. No one ever calls from my website. I've heard this too. My website was just a big waste of money. I've invested a lot of money in my website. A lot of people are hesitant to redo a website because they've invested a lot into it and it's not paying off. And this, kind of a general idea that, you know what, websites don't work. And if you're expecting a website to do anything for you other than be an official website so that you are a real business, you're expecting too much. Your website is actually the most powerful marketing tool you have. It is your business online. It's for those of us who work from home by ourselves, who provide professional services. Our website is our storefront, it's our office. It is what makes us real. It's infinitely expandable. You can put lots of information on it, and it can be a brilliant marketing tool. My last client that I picked up through my website said this to me on the phone, sight unseen. We had never met each other. I read every word on your site, and I believe you are the right person to help me. That is not the first phone call I've received like that. Another client of mine, I redid her website. She told me that she had 0 sales for a product she was offering online in 7 years. And she was convinced that websites don't work. We redid the site, raised the price of what it was that she was selling, and she sold 10 of them in 6 weeks. I'm not going to tell you about mind-blowing case studies about making millions of dollars online. I work with real people working small businesses, small amounts of sales. This is meaningful to my client. This other client who told me on Monday that her new website has gotten her 3 new clients. This is what websites are supposed to do. That's why you invest in a website, is so it will pay off for your business. So if you're not getting results from your website, or you don't have one yet, or you're wondering whether you even need one, you're doing it wrong. That's my contention here. So now here's the good news, okay? Unless it's technically broken, like the website just doesn't work, it's malfunctioning, it's not a good website technically, and unless it's really, really poorly designed, super ugly, and there are some websites out there that fit this description, but assuming that those things are not true, that it's functional and it looks okay, the problem is with your content, which is the words that you are using on that site. And that's why we're all here today. Communication mastery. Your website is all about communication. So the good news, this is actually great news. Think about it. You can fix it. They're words, you can change them. The problem is not your design. In fact, I will challenge you that if you have the right words on a very plain, professional-looking site, it's going to outperform the wrong words on something that looks really good. Design is great once you have a message, but design alone is not going to get you any clients. 7 mistakes that you are making, or potentially are making, and what to do instead. Mistake number one is the focus on the technology and the design and totally ignoring content. Like, content, whatever. A lot of people, when they start thinking that they need a website for their business, they recognize that they need one. They didn't need them back in 1994 when I started. People now recognize that they need a website, and they are willing to invest money, sometimes quite a bit of money, in a website. And the first thing that comes to mind, what do you need for a website? It needs to look nice. Make me a website that looks good. I want it to be professional. And use that whiz-bang technology stuff. I need a membership site. I need a shopping cart. I need PayPal. I need fancy sliding windows and things like that. I want the technology. It has to be a mobile site and a responsive site and all of this other stuff. Not saying it's not important, but it's not the primary importance. And then when you say, what about the content? People say, oh, writing? Of course I can do that. Everybody can write. Of course, when you sit down to actually write the content for your website, has anyone done that? It's more like this, right? Yeah, I understand my business. Yes, I can explain it. I can write, except this is me writing my own content. I understand this. It looks easy, and it's not. Web designers don't create content for people, typically, unless they absolutely have to in order to get paid. And instead, every web designer I've ever had a conversation with says the number one pet peeve they have is waiting for content from their clients. So the web designer waits, maybe puts a little pressure on you, deadline is escaping, and you end up throwing some stuff at them. Oh, here's some old brochures. Here's something I threw together at the last minute. Whatever you've got is a draft. Can you fix this up for me? Get a friend to write it for you, something like that. Off it goes. And then it doesn't work. So this is what the process tends to look like, and this is how it gets that way. But here's the thing. The content is the most important part of the project. That's where the conversation happens, it's where the communication happens, and that's going to make the difference between whether people call you or buy from you based on your website or not. So content is super, super important. So that's thing number one, pay attention to the content. Thing number two, we're talking about first impressions tonight. You have about 7 seconds from the time that somebody lands on your website. The very first thing that people want, what they need to know when they land on your website, the very first thing they are wondering is, where am I? This is not highly creative stuff we're talking about here. They want to know, where am I? Am I in the right place? Is this a site I meant to visit? And if they don't know who you are, is this site for me? Do you work with people like me? Can you solve my problem? That's why people are on your site. That's what they're looking for. They want to know, is this for me? Can you solve the kind of problem that I have? Am I in the right place? Did I find the right site? Because if it's not the right site, guess what? There's a million gazillion more out there. A while back, I heard a presentation from a business coach. And at the time, I was thinking, you know what? I think maybe it's time for me to work with another business coach. And I really liked what he had to say, and I was like, oh, this is really quite good. And then I'm thinking, I'm going to go and check out his website and see if he, find out more about his services. And I go online, and it's all about how he works with larger corporations and with teams and big businesses. And I'm like, oh, okay, he doesn't work with people like me. Found out later that he does work with people like me. And there's another example of what happens when your website content isn't doing a good job of communicating what you do. In order to pass this 7-second test, put it all in the headline. Don't get clever, don't get creative, just make the headline super clear. I do this kind of work for these kind of people. Because that tells me instantly that I'm in the right place. See, you'll never look at websites the same way again after tonight's presentation. Mm-hmm. Go take a look at websites and you'll see some headlines like, welcome to my website, Name of my company, no clue as to what the company does, who they do it for, what kind of problems that they solve. Once people know these things, they'll settle down and they'll read and they'll look for what they need. But if people feel disoriented, they've got no idea what's up with it, they're gone. 3, this is a popular one because you know what? This gives you a get out of creating content free card. Old school sales advice that says, don't tell them anything, you want them on the phone. I want people to find me through Google and then pick up the phone and call me. Because once they're on the phone, then I can sell them something. So you end up with websites that have this for content, and that's all that they've got. And then people complain, my website isn't working for me. Raise your hand if you like selling. If you're in business because you love to sell, you like to talk to people, you like the process of selling. Okay, I've got 2. That's excellent. Some business people are absolutely geared this way. They love selling. That's cool. It's a great answer if you have it. It's not, I'm raising my hand to demonstrate. I'm not raising my hand because I like it. Okay? Number 2, do you like being sold to? Raise your hand if you are the kind of person who will happily pick up the phone to call for more information and talk to a salesperson. If you're the kind of person who, when you walk into a store or a car lot and somebody comes up to greet you and says, you know, hi, I'm Joe, can I help you find something? That you say, yes, sure, this is what I'm looking for, and have a conversation? Or are you the kind of person who says, no thanks, I'm just looking? Anyone else? No thanks, I'm just looking? Kind of have that on auto response? Yeah. This is probably, for those who like to sell and like to talk to people and expect that people will phone them, this is sometimes really eye-opening, is that not everyone is like you. If you like sales and you like talking to people and you like the whole process and you're okay with talking to salespeople, it's really easy to believe that everyone is built like you are, and it's not necessarily true. As you can see in this audience, there's a large portion of people who either don't like selling or don't like raising their hand. And you know what? The kinds of people who don't like selling are also the kinds of people who don't like raising their hand. Because they're kind of shy. They don't really, they're not ready for it yet, right? So here's a bit of perspective. And this perspective works whether you like selling or not. Okay, so let's say you're like a life coach or you do some kind of, holistic healing or something like that. And you totally are in the camp of, no, I don't like selling. I wouldn't sell. I'm not pushy. I'm not manipulative. I don't like asking for the deal. It's not me. I am not a salesperson. I'm totally, I want to help people and help them with their problems and have a conversation. If they don't want to buy, that's totally okay with me. Anyone relate to that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're okay with that. We want to help and all of that. We're not going to push the last thing we want is someone to buy something from us if they don't really want it. Like that's not on. So you may see yourself as that kind of person, and you may act like that kind of person, but here's the truth. This is what everyone else is seeing. So even if you are the nicest, sweetest person in the world who is really nice and friendly, and you say, call me, and we'll have a meeting and I'll give you some more details. This is what you're asking them to do. Phone the salesperson, which they don't want to do. How many of you have gone to a website because you wanted to check out somebody that someone else has referred? So someone has said, go and talk to so-and-so, and before you phone and talk to the shark, you go to the website to find out more. Yeah. Yes? Yeah. Yes. Exactly what happened in that situation I described when I got here. It happens. It absolutely happens. When I get phone calls for referrals, they're, hi, so-and-so referred you, and I was just on your website. verbatim. Everyone says the same thing. We all do that. We use the web to research. So if you have a website, you need to make it something that helps people do the research. So ever gone to a website to find out more about somebody that you met at an event like this? Maybe you exchanged cards, and before you're going to have coffee or have a conversation, you go to the website, find out more about what they do? We all do that. Have you ever gone to a website, even when you're thinking about buying, but you want all the information you can possibly get first before you make that decision? You'd rather get the information from the website than the salesperson. Excellent. There's a whole lot of us out there that are like this. So here's the to-do advice, is provide a risk-free way for people to get the information they're looking for. Your website is brilliant at that. Answering the questions, providing the information without putting somebody in that uncomfortable place of having to pick up the phone and talk to someone who's going to sell them something. Your website can do a lot for you behind the scenes. It's an unpaid sales marketing partner. So this takes the shark out of the situation here, especially if you write your content in such a way that you build that relationship and people reveal the fact that you're not a sharky kind of a person. Okay? Mistake number 4, you will see this all over the place because probably 80-90% of the websites out there are like this. It's all about them. Welcome to my company name, I, me, we. Meet our team, we are wonderful, this is about us. And it's boring. Nobody cares about you and what you do until they recognize that you can help them with their problem. And even then, they're not all that interested in learning more about you and what you do. They're more interested in what you can do for them. The boring comes from recycling old information pamphlets and stuff like that. Lots of corporate-y, jargony kind of speak. You'll see this all over the place. Quick test for you, if you want to do this at home, go and look at your website and count up the number of times you say I, we, or your company name versus how many times you say you. You should have more yous. No. So, what radio station do your customers listen to? This is a test. Me. Me. That's close. Last time I did that, it was like, CKNW? WIIFM, what's in it for me? We're all programmed to look for what we're wanting. What problems do I have that I need solutions to? What is it that I want? Your customers are exactly the same. So meet them with the information they're looking for. Write your content for them. Your website actually is not about you. It's about your customers and how you can help them. Okay. Mistake number 5, missing key information. And this is an almost unbelievable story, but it is true. Joe and I are not from the Lower Mainland. We moved here about 4 years ago now, and as soon as we moved here, long day of traveling, we got our suite all set up, and we were looking for dinner. And we went online to find pizza. And you know what we found for pizza? We found beautiful multimedia displays, close-up of the sauce and the cheese and the history of the chef and the ingredients and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm shaking my head, I can't believe it. Hours of operation, not there. Delivery radius, no, why would they have that? The address. They're not making it easy for me to know whether or not it's close by, but this one took the cake. I'm like, I can't believe that this is true, Joe, but there's no phone number on this site. And I'm thinking that somebody went and sold websites to all of these pizza restaurants, and now the pizza restaurant owners are getting together going, websites don't work. So you need to provide the information that people are looking for. Is anyone familiar with this acronym? TLDR. Stands for too long, didn't read. Nobody's going to read all of that. This is what I say. Not everybody is going to read all of that, but you know who is going to read all of that? They're the people who have one hand on their credit card and the other one is hovering over the Buy Now button. When people want to buy, they're going to read the information and they're going to read it over and over and over again. So many clients I've met with, I go to the meeting and they have my website printed out. When you want to buy something, you will read about it. The reason people say it's too long, didn't read it, is because they don't want to buy what you're selling. Like when you ask your husband to look at your web content, like Joe tells me all the time, your sales pages are too long. He's not going to buy my services. He should. But he's not going to. So he doesn't want to read it. So provide the information that people are looking for. Put yourself in their shoes. What do they want? What do they want? Mistake number 6, this one's short and really obvious. Everyone wants to be at the top page of Google, and a lot of people try to morph their content into something that's really good for Google robots, not so good for people. And you'll see something like this. Lists of cities so that people know that that you serve Vancouver and New Westminster and Surrey and the keyword, marketing in New Westminster and Surrey and Burnaby. We specialized in marketing since marketing was invented. And if you're looking for marketing in Surrey, New Westminster, yes. And did I mention that we do marketing? You will see this. You got a live one on your site, and what are you doing? You're feeding them robot junk. Right? For people. Google isn't going to buy from you. People will. If you do a search, Marcus Sheridan, New York Times, or if you give me your card, I'll send this to you. This is the article on web marketing. I'll read the headline for you because you probably can't see it. A revolutionary marketing strategy. Answer customers' questions. This is a case study about a man who sells swimming pools, who took his business away from bankruptcy to millions of dollars in sales through his website by answering questions that his customers asked. That was his entire marketing concept. He went and he took a risk. He canceled all of his advertising. He went online and he answered questions. And he has the analytics to back it. He made like millions of dollars through this strategy. Never mind too long, didn't read. He has got lots of articles on his site. And by the way, this makes great search engine stuff. He ranks great in Google. He's never keyword optimized his site. The best keywords are what your customers are actually searching for. What do they call it? What language did they use? Even if it's wrong. And a lot of times customers don't know, so they call it the wrong thing. Guess what you should call it? The wrong thing. Because that's how they're going to find it. All right. Mistake number 7. No call to action. No one ever calls from my website. Did you ask them to? You need to be explicit with people about how do you contact you, what is the next step, what do I need to do. So use a call to action on your site. This looks like buy now where that's appropriate. Sometimes it looks like sign up for my newsletter. I could have 70 mistakes on here. Another one is not having a way to capture email addresses. Or call for an appointment. Tell them what the process is. People are afraid of the unknown. Spell out how your services work. How do you make an appointment? How does the process work? What can they expect? The more of the risk and uncertainty you take away, the better the likelihood of them contacting you. So that's a call to action. So here's your summary. Your homework, 7 things you can do to improve your website. It won't cost you anything. It's just words. 1, focus on your content. Pay attention to the content. Have a clear and compelling homepage headline. This can make a huge difference. You should be spending 80% of your time writing your headline. If people don't read your headline, respond to your headline. Same with emails. If they don't like the subject line, they're not going to read it. It's the most important thing. That's what people see. Make it clear and compelling. Let them know that they are in the right place. Provide a risk-free way to get the information. Share the information. More than just phone me, here's my phone number. The people who don't want to read and like to phone, they're going to do that anyhow. They will not read it. And don't get mad at them for not reading it. It's different strokes for different folks. Let them phone and talk to you. 4, make it client-focused. It's about them. It's not about you. 5, provide all the information. Answer all the questions, everything that they're looking for. And keep adding the content. You don't have to have it all today, but continue to add it. Write for real human being people in the language that they use. And include a call to action so they know what to do next. I believe that is my time.
Thank you so much.